All right, cool. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the pod. And in this one, we're actually going to be covering over a lot of high ticket funnels, how we've actually scaled and how Los has actually scaled a lot of high ticket offers to multiple seven figures, and doing so in the unique industries of fitness and supplements. So, Los, tell us a little bit about some of the offers that you've been a part of, and we'll dive into it.
Yeah, so I think that the big thing with scaling anything high ticket, really, it just comes down to having the offer being really dialed in. A lot of people are like, oh, I have high ticket, and just they don't have a timeline, a specific price point, what they're doing for the person, and what time they're doing it for the person. So those things tend to not work, right? What people want is, hey, I will help you get your first Airbnb house in 12 weeks, and you'll be ready to rent people out, and that's what you're going to get out of this particular thing. Or I'm going to help you get to your Shopify store to 75,000 a month consistently, or you're going to lose 12 pounds or get to 7% body fat in 16 weeks doing this particular method, right? When you productize things and make them very specific is when you actually have the opportunity to just close that one avatar on that one particular solution. Everyone thinks their total addressable market is usually bigger than it is. Like, oh, who do you work with? Oh, women that like fitness. No, you don't, because you don't work with women that want 4% body fat. You work with moms that have probably had C-sections and want to do Eastern medicine because they don't believe in Western medicine, and don't have time and don't have a good eating pattern and want to lose 15 pounds. That's because they are embarrassed to go onto a pool with their kids. That's totally different than like a super structured person that wants to go from 12% bulking down to 5 or 6% for a show.
Absolutely.
That's different than somebody that wants to biohack themselves and, increase like their virality and their longevity and their aging go down, because that's also in fitness, and that's a totally different, that's an entrepreneur kind of an avatar, right? So the avatar and the total addressable market becomes a lot more shrunk when you have it dialed in. But that if you focus on talking to that person, you're going to be able to scale that.
Gotcha. So dialing it in is dialing the avatar, dialing in the acquisition process, right? So
the messaging.
Yeah, the messaging. You were saying that, it's not just women in fitness. It's, hey, what are the actual hurts and pains behind that? What can't they do because of you're not providing that solution? And then also, you said the timeline. So tell us about why that deliverability, a believable timeline, actually matters, and like how to actually craft that for that offer.
In my experience, if you go too long, like, hey, I'll help you lose weight, and it's a year-long program, I have a year to get this started. Even if I pay you, I'm not going to start, because there's no sense of urgency. There's no scarcity. There's no, I don't have a pool party to get to, or a bar mitzvah, or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But when you tie that in, hey, in the next 12 weeks, we're going to get you from here to here so you can achieve look or result, that makes it more specific. First, when you pay attention, right? So I already paid, now I'm paying attention. But if you say, hey, this is going to be in 6 months, the normal human, even if you paid, is going to go, all right, so I can look at this in like a couple weeks or like a week, or, oh, I missed that call, I'll just get it to next week. It's the same thing as skipping your diet or doing whatever. When you have the timeline, you have to be on the onboarding call. That takes you to this. Then we have this. You start following a structure. You're like, okay, I got to get this dialed in. If not, I'm going to lose out on the result.
Gotcha. So you create those milestones in the front end messaging, and then the back end as well. So for people that, maybe are going high ticket, they're solving that specific issue. What's separated the ones that you've been able to successfully either consult or scale alongside in the fitness space, doing 7 figures, and the ones that haven't, based off of those two things? Was it, maybe they didn't have their messaging dialed in, or was it they couldn't deliver the actual transformation?
It's never, they usually can't deliver the transformation. It's usually they don't have their offer dialed in. They don't have upsells. So a lot of times you can use the high ticket thing, or you even go lower, to have more services or track people's food or whatever the case, right? And it doesn't have to be fitness. But a lot of times the better ones are the ones that are using this almost, it's not a self-liquidating offer, but an offer that increases lifetime value. And that's the initial way that people get to it. So you can increase lifetime value through services, other products, other opportunities, different potential joint ventures, whatever the case. base, those do really well. And the ones that are focusing on content consistently, first, second, and third, right? Because people will be like, I'm spending some money on ads. And I do Instagram. Oh, do you do TikTok? Nah, it's for kids. Oh, do you do YouTube? Nah, it makes no sense. Okay, so you're on one platform that you choose to be, and you kind of post on it, and you kind of spend money on ads, and then you do nothing else, and you're wondering why there's no leads.
Yeah, gotcha. So at that moment then, if a traffic source is dying out, when does that entrepreneur, if they are doing high ticket, maybe something worked in the past or whatever, continues to double down on that offer, whether it's, making the transformation better or, having to shift that offer a little bit, when should they double down, or when should they just go to the next type of offer?
I think they should double down when I don't even think it's doubling down. I think you should go into it with multiple sources of traffic as a concept, right? Every time we talk to people, their number one source of traffic is a referral or some sort of half-ass affiliate. And I always tell them that's terrifying, because I don't want to wake up January 1st and be like, all right, if Rob and Jim and Mike send me at least 2 people, then we're good. But if they don't, which I can't force them to, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. That's a nice bonus. It's a nice to have, but it's not the reason for, you know what I mean? I would start with like, all right, we have a social game plan. That's all social. Like, what do we need to do? Including Twitters and LinkedIn's, depending on where you're at. Like, all of it counts. There's people everywhere there. Then it's like, okay, how do I spike that with traffic? How do I optimize my offer organically first, and then change it a little bit so it goes into traffic? Because the other thing, and we'll talk about it on another conversation, but once you start running paid traffic, even if you have 1 million followers, I bet you no one knows who you are. You think, you're like, oh, I got 1 million followers, it's easy. No one knows who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was really good, man. So again, to recap, talking about really dialing in the offer, knowing who those avatars are, creating those benchmarks and those milestones along the way. And then lastly, upselling them or downselling them to other ancillary services. That way your brand grows, but then also the bottom line grows and you don't miss out on the revenue.
100%.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks.